Caitlin Clark advises to silence hate with all-star gesture to Angel Reese. Indiana Fever point guard Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's biggest star, but her detractors are second in number only to her fans. Much of the polarization around Clark has arisen out of her rivalry with Chicago Sky forward Angel Reese, which stretches back 4 seasons to the last 2 years the women spent in collegiate basketball at Iowa and LSU, respectively. Reese's Tiger squad bested Clark's Hawkeyes in the NCAA championship game in 2023. Clark and Iowa defeated Reese and LSU in the tournament the following year, on their way to a second consecutive second-place finish. Clark became the no overall pick in 2024, while Reese went 7th overall. They battled for Rookie of the Year honors, which Clark eventually captured along with a spot on the First-Team All-WNBA squad. Each woman has had her own particular struggles early in their sophomore seasons at the pro level. Clark has missed as many games as she's played through 18 contests, battling injuries to both her quad and her groin, while also dealing with a shooting slump over her last few outings prior to her current groin issue. Reese has struggled to perform offensively, scoring 12.6 points per game and shooting just 41% from the field, mostly from close range. She has, however, remained a dominant force on the glass and solid defensively on the interior. Despite their difficulties, both women will be all-star participants for the second consecutive season. As the top recipient in fan voting, Clark will be a team captain alongside Nafisa Collier of the Minnesota Lynx. Her position will afford Clark a unique opportunity to smooth over some of the polarization and frankly misplaced hate and anger surrounding her and Reese by making an unexpected move. Selecting Reese to her team early in the draft process, Caitlin Clark can douse hate around Angel Reese rivalry by extending All-Star Game olive branch. Nancy Armour of USA Today advised Clark, make the move. In a piece that ran on Tuesday, July 8th, Caitlin Clark has the chance to quiet the toxic behavior of the worst of her fans. There's an ugly undertone to Clark and Reese's rivalry that's an issue for everyone in the WNBA. There is a segment of Clark's fans, not all of her fans, not the majority of her fans, but too many who have styled Clark as some kind of white, hetero-normative savior and are using her as a vehicle for racism and homophobia. Clark has disavowed this segment of her fan base directly and indirectly. Her harshest condemnation came in Time's Athlete of the Year profile last year. Just stop, she told the magazine, because that's not who I am. Armour suggested that Clark can do more to throw water on the flames of hate that seem to rise on social media every time Reese comes up, and often in person as well, by selecting her rival to play as her teammate in the All-Star Game for the second year in a row. Clark and Reese played together in last season's All-Star outing as members of Team WNBA, which took on the members of Team USA, who went on to win gold in the Summer Olympics in Paris later that year. And though the Olympic squad defeated the world without Clark and Reese at its disposal, it was unable to defeat Team WNBA in the exhibition contest at the league's mid-season break, falling by 8 points. It could silence some of the howling chorus of awfulness, Armour continued. The folks saying Reese sucks or flooding her social accounts with vitriol might pipe down if they see she has Clark's endorsement. The folks who think they're supporting Clark with their nastiness might think twice when Clark herself gives a public seal of approval. Clark and Collier will select their squads on Tuesday night, July 8th, via live broadcast on ESPN that begins at 7 p.m. ET. He kicks off with a build-up. It'll be popularized by many fans who are raved and boarded and who seem to be the ones that seem the most harmed by it. The WNBA will hold the All-Star Game on July 19th. In a WNBA season driven as much by highlight reels as by headlines, 2 names have consistently stayed at the center of every conversation: Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. From their viral NCAA rivalry to their simultaneous rise as rookies in the pros, their every move has become fuel for fans, critics, and media pundits alike. But as the WNBA All-Star Game approaches, whispers from around the league are growing louder. Some believe Clark has a golden opportunity to silence the hate, not with words, but with a single powerful gesture, choosing Angel Reese first in the All-Star draft. It wouldn't just be a basketball decision, it would be a cultural earthquake. The rivalry that was never meant to be, ever since the 2023 NCAA championship game between Iowa and LSU, the Clark-Reese dynamic has been framed as a clash, white versus black, Midwest versus South, humility versus swagger. But those caricatures, pushed by outsiders and amplified online, rarely reflect the deeper truth. Two competitors who respect each other, shaped by different paths, both fighting for the same thing: respect, representation, and relevance. Both Clark and Reese have publicly praised each other's talents, and yet the WNBA media machine continues to stir division, pitting their fan bases against one another as if one can't rise without the other falling. The result? A toxic narrative that threatens to overshadow what both women have achieved. But there's one event where Clark can take control of the script: the All-Star Draft, where she, as captain, will pick her squad. And that's where the advice comes in. Lead with unity. Pick Angel Reese first. The power of the pick. Imagine the moment. Clark, sitting under the bright lights of the live draft broadcast. Nafia Sakalia sits across from her, waiting to see who the rookie phenom will choose first to join her team. Names like Ija Wilson, Brianna Stewart, and Sabrina Ionescu loom as obvious choices. But Clark doesn't hesitate. She leans in and smiles and says, "With my first pick, I'm going with Angel Reese." Boom. Twitter breaks. The crowd gasps. Fans go from scrolling to standing. For a split second, the noise vanishes, replaced by the undeniable power of sportsmanship. A gesture that goes beyond basketball. Why would this be so meaningful? Because it would erase months of either-or thinking, because it would tell every young girl watching, black, white, loud, quiet, that there's room for all of them in this game, because it would show that women's basketball, for all its rivalries, is still united at its core. It's not about pretending the rivalry never existed. It's about redefining it. Great rivals make great teammates, says Sue Bird in an ESPN segment leading up to the draft. And if Caitlin does this, she's not just drafting a player, she's drafting progress. Clark's brand of leadership, Caitlin Clark, has always carried herself with a competitive fire. She's not a politician. She's not looking to win PR battles. She lets her game speak, and the game speaks loudly. But leadership isn't just about stats. It's about moments. And for Clark, who has already become a face of the WNBA in her first year, this could be the moment where her influence becomes bigger than her jumper. This gesture wouldn't silence all critics, but it would flip the narrative. It would force every talking head and Twitter troll to reconsider the scripts they've been repeating, and it would send a powerful message to Angel Reese herself. I see you. I respect you. Let's go win together. The symbolism of teammates. Imagine them in matching all-star jerseys, standing side by side for tip-off. The same hands that once pointed fingers now throw no-look passes. The energy that once divided arenas now fuels alley-oops and fast breaks. Every assist between them would feel like a healing note in a song the league didn't know it needed. Every shared celebration would be a reminder that women's sports are better when we stop forcing drama and start celebrating greatness. Reese's reaction, Angel Reese wouldn't be surprised. Deep down, she knows the hate hasn't come from Caitlin Clark. It's come from the sidelines. The headlines. The algorithms. If Clark picks her, you can bet Reese will bring the same tenacity she always has, but this time with a smirk that says, "About time y'all caught up. People tried to divide us, but tonight we're going to dominate together." That's the kind of quote that would end up on t-shirts and TikToks alike. The fans deserve it. This isn't about erasing rivalries. Sports thrive on them. But this is about showing that rivalries don't have to equal animosity. Fans deserve to see what happens when the two most magnetic players of their generation stop being framed as opposites and start being seen as complements. Clark's vision, Reese's rebounding. Clark's range, Reese's rim running. Clark's poise, Reese's passion. Together, unstoppable. One gesture, one game, a lead change. The WNBA is growing fast, record-breaking attendance, sold-out arenas, massive jersey sales. But with visibility comes responsibility. And in this climate, how players handle perception is as important as performance. Caitlin Clark doesn't owe anyone anything. She's not required to fix the narratives others created. But with one pick, she can shift an entire culture. And the best part, she'll still be the same competitor, the same scorer, the same trash talking, logo shooting phenom, just with one more assist off the court